Hi everybody, and welcome back to Hex Token PulseX Live. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Hope you enjoy it. Pump up the jam, pump it up. That's how we're going. The price is going up and the sacrifice is going up. I mean, it's good times. Very, very cool. So hopefully we're going to enjoy that. Let's get into the chat, folks. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. We're going to have a little good session. And if you missed out on session earlier today, you will see that we covered liquid loans in the live stream earlier today, which is the first time I've done such a, or second time I've done one that early, actually. So get into that if you want to check that out, liquid loans. We did a nice overview of that, went through the website, went through the haunted strategy, one of the main ways of leveraging that system. And yeah, so check it out. It's a good overview, good introduction, and we have had a lot of good chats in there as well. So do check that out. But at the moment, we're on to PulseX, so we're going to talk about that. I'm going to be doing a live stream on Hedron as well. That's for Hex stakers, Hedron. So we're going to look at that too. I may do that even tonight. We'll see how we get on today. Otherwise, I'll do it tomorrow. So we'll have a lot of fun with that too. So very, very cool. Now it is currently 4:16 p.m. in the afternoon on Friday, so just to give you a time reference for me in a good old down under New Zealand, otherwise known as Kiwiland or Aotearoa. You can take your pick. Very, very cool. So here we go. Let's get into the chat, folks. And I got no poll today, so no poll today. Simple one there. We'll just get into the chat. We got Tefrin in the house with the bags and the rockets and the shades. I love it, and the pumped arms. So yeah, pump it up, Tefrin. And good to see you always, my brother, says Tefrin. Hey, great to see you in the chat for sure. And Brownie's in the house. Go Hex Token, pumping them out like a machine. You are the best, man. I appreciate that. Right back at you. And let's go, Brandon, says Tefrin. Nice one. I'm with that one too. I'm on board with that. Let's go, Brandon. And hopefully it doesn't get me pulled down on YouTube, but you know how we roll. Marco says, woo! And Tefrin says, wow, 7:16 p.m. Thursday night here. Man, there's a big difference between our time zones there, Tefrin. That's for sure. Anyway, cheers, everybody. Grab yourself a drink, sit back and relax. Let's get into it. Here we are on Pulse Leads, and we're at a 904 million. 135,000 US dollars sacrificed for PulseX so far, and that only includes the Ethereum chain. Doesn't include compatible Ethereum chains or other chains like Bitcoin. And we're estimating currently, based on the last number we had, that we must be over 35 million in that as well. So we look like we're, probably around about 940, give or take, 940 million, give or take. So I think that's pretty cool. And let's have a look at, we're going to go through all the results as we always talk about, and then we're going to look at day 16 results as well, the one that finished a couple of hours ago. And that was also the same time frame, if you recall, for the volume multiplier for Pulsechain. Sacrifice back between the 15th of July all the way up to the 3rd of August. That ran for 19 days. The first 16 days was the volume multiplier. Obviously, that's a little different with the PulseX time frame, but that's an interesting comparison. So very, very cool. We're going to check that out. So let's get into it straight away. Obviously, here is the official site, pulsex.com. So we might as well touch that first, and we'll run through all the numbers. So 904 million there, very, very cool. We've got 20 hours and 41 minutes to go until another 5% increase. It just keeps pumping up by 5%. Pump up the jam. That's how it goes. So it's pretty cool. Now, the current rate per 10,000 points, if you do it today, within this time frame of 20 hours and 40 minutes, it will be $1.28 for 10,000 points. So those are what I call the base points. And on top of that, there's a volume multiplier, and that gives you a bonus multiplier on your base points depending on where you rank with your US dollar sacrifice compared to everybody else based on a particular wallet that you might have sacrificed from. So very, very cool. The total points basically you'll get is 10,000 points per $1.28 times the multiplier or whatever. If you sacrificed on different days, then obviously it's going to be the sum of those results. So very cool. All right, here's the sacrifice curve, or we might call it a bond. Not quite a bonding curve, is it? Yeah, kind of a bonding curve. And so pay per 10,000 sacrifice points. Here we are with the white vertical line and a horizontal white line there as well, showing you the price. So the price on one side, time on the other, and we're slowly going up this curve here for the sacrifice points. Man, oh man, it gets pretty hardcore. You're paying basically 10 times more by the time we get to the end of the PulseX sacrifice phase. and also the volume multiplier phase goes up until the end of the 21st, the 25th, sorry, the end of 20th, the 1st there. So am I confusing it? The end of the 20th and the beginning of the 1st. It's 000 UTC time. Very, very cool. So what happens once you sacrifice, then you have to wait like the rest of us for the points to be calculated, etc. But after the Pulsechain mainnet release, sacrifices will be able to access their free PLSX on the Pulsechain. So you just have to have the Pulsechain in your wallet as a network, and you switch, say, from Ethereum or other networks you might be on over to the Pulsechain one, and you will see your PLS and your PLSX on the Pulsechain. You may have to add in the token contracts or coin contracts in terms of Pulse into the MetaMask wallet or whatever wallet you're using, but otherwise it will be there on the blockchain. Good old blockchain. There we are. All right, so very, very cool. Let's jump over. If you want to make a sacrifice, of course, use pulsex.info. The link is in the video description. Just follow the instructions and you'll be fine. You can always send a small amount if you're a little nervous. You can do that too. But there we are. So that's the official sites, those two, pulsex.com, pulsex.info. Let's jump on to PulseX Leads. This is a third-party site, but has a lot of great information. That's why we use it. And so we're going to get into this as well. All right, so we'll do the comprehensive breakdown afterwards. Let's get into the top results. Top 100 wallets, we've still got 10 over 10 million. So they're looking strong there. Let's go all the way down. If you want to get in the top 100 on the scan, it has definitely gone up. $116,882 you're going to need to get in the top 100 now on the ETH side. And we have 74,879 wallets now. So looking super good, and we will get more than double the amount of Pulsechain quite easily, I think, with the remaining days we've got left. So we're in day 17, I think, now. So yeah, let us go to the top 500 wallets. Check that out too, and see if we can make it. So if you've sacrificed, you'll obviously probably know where you lie. You can use the search address over there. If you sacrifice on the ETH chain, it will show up there. But if you did others on other chains, that will not show up there. So just take that into account. You have to check your transactions and stuff like that, your transaction hash. All right, let's go scroll down to the top 500. So you need, oh boy, we're almost at 200K to get in the top 500 now. 198,420 to get in the top 500. So not chump change, folks, not chump change. And some countries, this would be, well, actually in a lot of countries, this US dollar amount would be a little house. You can imagine a little house sitting here, little house in here, little house in here, and maybe we've got a whole road over here. You kind of imagine it like that. There's a whole road. So you think of a whole ton of houses being thrown to the sacrifice. That's just the way it goes. So nice. Let's look at the top 1,000. That was a little fun analogy there. Let's get in the top 1,000, and we'll scroll down. And oh wow, woohoo! Need a cool cold 100K. It's pretty much what the numbers are kind of wrapping up. 200K for top 500, 100,000K for top 1,000 wallets. That's hilarious. That's kind of hilarious. 100,000 there, so you need that to get in. There's heaps of people with exactly 100K in there. That's hilarious. That is very funny. All right, so let's get in the top 5,000, see what that is. And also we're going to check out the number of millionaires, and we're going to check out the Magic Heart, not Magic Heart Club, Magic Carpet Ride Club. We'll try and check out those. All right, so there's a couple of gabs already. All right, so top 5,000, you need $18,240 to get in there. So there we are, or 18,239. So very, very cool. Top 5,000. So it's there we are, top 5,000. Like I say, if you thought that maybe 5K would get you in there, that's not going to be the case. You need 18,239 to get in top 5,000. And there are a total of 74,879 wallets. So going good, going really good. But hey, not to be too surprised with the total sacrifice just going up, up, up and away. So nice. Let us go to the top. We're going to go to top 100 again. We're going to have a look for, actually, we're going to go top 500. And we're going to scroll up there, sorry, and have a look at how many millionaires we've now got. I think we had, it was 103 yesterday. I think 103 yesterday. So we scroll down there, and we're up to 104. So I think we might have added one millionaire today, which is not surprising given the rates going up. So cool. All right, so that's where we're at on there, folks. And let's have a look for the Magic Carpet Ride Club, because they're going to be in here somewhere. Let's have a look for that. What we're at 20, they were 29 yesterday, I think. DE807, yeah, they've crossed over 3 million. Little rat bags doing a great job out there. So that's Ramon. Ramon was in there from was watching this live stream. So big shout out to them. And I hope it all plays out like super duper because it's looking good at the moment. So very cool. They've also got a couple 100,000 on Binance Smart Chain. So that definitely moves them high up to 27. That would put them, up at 25 or somewhere like that. They're probably sitting somewhere in this area when they add in their Binance Smart Chain. But then some of these wallets may have stuff in other chains too. That's just the way it goes. So very, very cool results. Let's check out the total, of course. We're sitting at, let me just go through that. We're 538 million in Hex, 60, I don't know why that's all spun around there, 206 million in ETH, 97.8 million in USDC. USDC at USD Tether, sorry, at 36 mil, DAI at 5.2 mil, so some pretty good results. Those are top 5. Matic at 3.777, that's a good number, eh? And Wrap Bitcoin, I'm not sure why that's flipped around, but 3.3 million, and Link at 3 million, Shiba at 2.8 million, and 1.8 million in Wise, which always gives me a tickle pink there. Now the Shiba is interesting because I think people were trying to target the Shiba. Saw something in Reddit, people targeting people in Reddit and Shiba community, and they end up getting banned in there, so it's hilarious. Keep up the good work though, folks. Keep up the good work, spread the word. That's what we want to see. So those are the top 10, folks. Oh, obviously Uni honorable mention from Uni at number 11, and Crow at number 13, Aave at number 15. We've got a lot of obviously big ones in there, so very, very cool. So that's the top results. Let's go into yesterday's results. And the other thing, of course, highlight is that the fact is almost 2.1 billion Hex has been sacrificed, and that's a wonderful thing. And as I said to you, just a quick off the cuff estimate, I estimate that to be possibly around 7.5, somewhere in that mark percent of circulating supply. That's in public hands, not in the Origin wallets. So I'll try and get a definitive number on that, but that's kind of a quick one on that one. All right, so that doesn't include, of course, the Pulsechain sacrifice. So we estimate that maybe combined upwards of 15 to 18%, somewhere in that mark. Someone else said 18% yesterday. I'm not too surprised by that. I had 15, so not too bad. 18 seems about right. All right, so let's jump over to the statistics and check out that, and let's see what the results were for day 16. So yeah. Hex still 60% of the sacrifice there. Nice. The sacrifice per day. We're going to go down to day 16. So that's undefined. It's day 17. So we'll come back from that. So day 16, which was the end of the Pulsechain sacrifice, we had 8.7 million on that day. That wasn't surprising given it was the last day. Yeah, so I'm not sure if that's showing up. So that's showing up the PulseX sacrifice. PulseX sacrifice. Sorry, day 16, 8.7 million. That's what we got. That was closed a couple of hours ago. So it's a 24-hour result, 8.7. And what was the Pulsechain? Pulsechain was 9.7, which was higher on that particular day. That was the final day of the volume multiplier for the Pulsechain sacrifice. So what? So about $1 million difference. Yeah, it's about a million difference in there, so not too bad. And of course, PulseX is going to keep rolling on, and the official phase, I guess you might call it, PulseX is going to keep rolling on. It's a little different the way it's done. Let's look at the total sacrifice numbers. Obviously, a Pulsechain is in the purple there, and PulseX is in the kind of reddish color. You can see that we blitzed it. We blitzed that back on the 12th. We've been going ahead, of course, on there. This is day 12, sorry. And yeah, so there we are, 670 million on the ETH chain for Pulsechain sacrifice, but smashed by PulseX at 903. So what's that? 233 million higher. Wow, that's pretty amazing results. So on the same day, day 16. So PulseX is definitely doing better there. So let's do the numbers on that. 203 is what I said. Yeah, 203 divided by, oh, no, I didn't say that, did I? I said 233. 233 divided by 670. That is 35% better than Pulsechain. PulseX has done on that total amount by day 16. So it's pretty good. Pretty good day in the office is a third, so nice. So that's pretty cool results. So I hope you guys enjoyed the update. That was the live one and the stats for that day. Very, very cool. We're going to jump over to some of the news, of course, get into the comments first, then we're going to jump over the Hex price and check out the Hex price because that plays an important role. We're going to talk about some numbers around that too. So nice. What do we else got? Hexagon, nice, 8:17 p.m. here, Thursday here in Arizona. Very, very nice. So you guys are not too far away from each other, about an hour away, hour difference. So I think it's there 5 time zones in the United States, including Hawaii. I think so. So very cool. Tefrin's smiling at that. Yeah. Smog says, how will I ever financially recover from the T-share payout being below 6? I know. I almost had a fell off my chair when I did the update for today. It was it 5.996 or something? That was hilarious. We got so used to being over 6, it was quite a shock. But nevertheless, very, very cool. Says Refine. Hey, good to see Refine in the house. What's up, everybody? Says Hex Force. Hey, I like that name, Hex Force. That sort of encapsulates what's happening right now. New thing says, hi, Hex Token. We are bullish. I think so. It's starting to happen, folks. It's starting to happen. Hold on to your chair. Hold on to your hat. Hold on to your, I don't know, whatever. It's going to happen. It's going to be pretty cool. Rimrod's in the house, new to this, and sacrifice $1,100. Very exciting. Hey, that's a really good number. I even say to people, if you sacrifice $100, that you'll be surprised what that will do for you. So it's going to be pretty exciting. So well done, Rimrod. Welcome to the party. You know. Brenton says, the key, of course, is holding on for the X's. You've got to hold on for the X's. What happens with the chart's going to go up and down. You got to hold on for the X's if you want the big X's. That's the lesson learned, I guess. Brendan says, g'day, Hexadonkins. Hey, g'day. G'day, Brent. And g'day to you out there. I love it. I love it. G'day. G'day is such a great phrase down under. Australian and New Zealanders use it, or Aussies and Kiwis is just another way of saying it. Very, very cool. MJ Money says, what's the multiplier chart say for $1 worth today? Yeah, we're going to get into that, MJ. That's what's up. But we're going to talk about Hex price. Then we'll get, actually, you're right. Maybe we should go to that chart first. Probably where we should go, MJ. We're going to do that. Francia's in the house. Hey, Francia. Good to see you. Hello, Hexkin. Very good to see Francia de Jesus in the house. And great to have you here. All right, let's jump over to the rate and see what the rate is today. So we are on $1.28. Actually, I did talk about that earlier on the official site, but we're on $1.28. But what will that get you? If you've got $1, let's take it up here. So if you've got the volume multiplier is 1. So the volume multiplier is 1 to 2.5. It's based on how much US dollars you get. That's that bonus amount that you get on top of the base points that you get. So if you've done a $1 and it's $1.28, then that would be 7,835 based on this number. This is indicative, of course. I'm not sure if these top numbers have been changed or need to be changed. I think that it's based on the export a couple of days ago, so just take that into account. And if you did we're $1.20. If you did about $4,000, it's going to be about 8,600, etc. So that's kind of a rough estimation of that. So cool. Obviously, the higher the US dollar that you sacrifice, the higher the multiplier you'll get, and that means you'll get over 10,000 points as time goes on. But as you can see in red, it gets worse for everybody in terms of getting 10,000 to 1, $10,000 to 1 point. $1 to 10,000 pulse X points. It gets worse for everybody, no matter how high you are. So cool. That's going to keep going, of course. And then we've got a flat bonus in the last 5 days, 1.75. And that flat bonus on day 55 would actually be better than many of these days here that are for the low multiplier. If you've got a low multiplier, you want to sacrifice some more, then that's the case. And that leads us on to the Hex price. So Hex price has had a nice little pump today. Really cool. 25 cents now. It's actually higher, moving higher as we talk. But that's a pretty nice move today. What are we up? About 11, almost 11% today, which is a nice little move. And we got some nice little volume in there too, as well. So this is just the one pair, $13.45 million, and that's in the. I think that's the volume amount. So that's pretty cool. I think that's the right number. So cool. Let us get on to. Let us go to the full scale. We're going to go to have a look at the CCI. That's definitely moving up, looking good. We're not over the 0 yet, so not full on bullish, but looking good, on heading in the right direction. We've got the MACD is also heading in the right direction. The volumes are leveling off on the downturn, and looks like we might cross over that signal line. That's really the kicker. Get over the 0 and the signal line, up and away. We've got plenty of room to move too, so it's looking good. And finally, the RSI there, not finally, but the RSI is next. It's over 50. That's a bullish sign, but it can pull back, as we see over here. It was over 50 pullback, but it's definitely looking good with the other indicators. And we've got the other thing I was going to say, we've got tons of room to move on that. That's what you want. You want to have a lot of room so you can have a nice price uplift on the RSI there. And finally, we're going to get into, we might as well look at the EFI. That's looking good too, over 0, moving up. That's the force index and the oscillator, volume oscillator, which is kind of a price volume oscillator. That's below 0, but moving in the right direction. So we'll look forward to that. And finally, the DMI, kind of my favorite one. This is pretty popular too. I've changed the colors too to make it easier to read. The default colors are not that easy to understand. We've got the buy side in the green, the sell side in the red, and the signal line in orange. And of course, we've got exactly where we want to be. We want the buy to be up by itself across the signal line. And of course, we want a nice little breakout here, so that we get it like back here where we get a nice little break up in the price. So cool. And you want it above in there. So we're not in the sell zone here. This is where the buyers are down here, and the sellers are up here. We don't want that. So we're in good space now. It looks really good. All right, so cool. We've got plenty of room there, plenty of room. All right, so that's some of the basic TAs charts. And of course, with the Bollinger Bands are in blue here, that shows the bottom 5% and top 95% of the price range, with the red line in the middle there being the average 50%. And we've basically hit that now on the daily, so that's really cool. I guess we're gonna have a look at the log chart as well. This is on the linear chart. We're gonna have a look at the log, and so look at, I'm not sure if I've got that up there. Let me have a look. So look at the quick weekly. This doesn't have the full data on here, but we'll have a quick look on this one anyway. Sort of see where we're going on the weekly there. Let me just pull that back to the day. We're going to check out the hourly on here and see all the actions. See, look at that. Woo! Nice, nice, nice. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. Worthy chart. So cool. And that looks really good. But here's the big volume move. So some big buying going on. Really kicked us off. We had a little bit more a couple an hour ago. But that was and that's what happens in the chart, right? Get a bit of volume kick off, then move that up in the right direction. And the supply is relatively less. I mean, Uniswap's still, relatively less than it was, but there's a lot less in the wallets. People's wallets and the public's liquid circulating supply in the wallets is a lot less now that 2.1 billion has just gone into PulseX. So that certainly helps, because if you think about all the people out there holding liquid Hex, and they've all got decisions, many of them just leave it there. They don't care. Let's say you've got the hardcore stakers and they've got a bit of liquid, but they really just don't want to sell their liquid. They're like hardcore stakers, hardcore OGs, that sort of thing. They're not going to do too much with their liquid. Maybe from time to time they do something, but that's where they're at. Then you got the middle, the sort of the short term, the sort of the middle ground where they got a bit, they want to sell a little bit here and there, maybe trade a little bit. You got that sort of thing. They have some stakes, they want to do that. And then you have the short term OGs, the ones with the big bags we always see when we go through the whale bot. They might have 25 million Hex rolling every 30 days. Those are the ones that we see, and of course they're getting split up over time. And I keep saying that in the daily vid. So we still get might have 200,000 T-shares in a month, like January, but they're actually all those big candles we used to see are starting to break up. And that's a beautiful thing. So that's going to just continue, but we still have to absorb if any of those stop rolling the 30-day stuff and decide to sell out. Maybe the price goes up to $1. Those are the ones that are sitting there. That if the stuff comes out in time, they might do that. Then of course we have the ones with the liquid in the bags that just sit on liquid. They're not rolling any stakes or anything, and they're just looking for opportunities. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, but now that we have 2.1 billion Hex off the market, that just reduces some of those decisions from some of those players. So it's pretty cool to see that. And many of those ones go for going for the PulseX upside. So good luck to them, as we all are. That's why we're on this live stream. So yeah, all right. So that's cool. That's what's happened. So looking good on the chart. Looking really nice. 25 cents. Now, if you wanted to offset the increase in the rate at the last couple of days, so as we said, the rate's gone from $1 per 10,000, which we had here, now to $1.28. then you need to get a price at the moment of about 33.2 cents to offset this increase in the base amount. So you need the price to go up to 33.2 cents to offset that. Otherwise, you're better off, to get the same kind of sacrifice level that you would have got on day 12. So the price offsetting the 5% increase over the last 5 days. So that's what you would need to do. Tomorrow, that would be about it'll be probably over probably close to 30, probably 34.7 or something like that, something in that range. So definitely the price of Hex has to go up quite a bit to offset this rise. And of course, you need a big enough accounts to start moving that momentum. But we're definitely getting some momentum at the moment. And as I say that, a little red candle happens, but you're getting some momentum there. Okay, it got a little bit bigger there. So we're still getting some momentum. So we're at 25.1. Now 24.6, but you're going to need some little red candles to zigzag up. Otherwise, it's just going to eventually come down, right? Which it will at some stage. But cool. Let me just get out of that. That's nice. It's funny, just as I said that, the candle goes red. That's hilarious. Bloody oath, mate, says Brendan. Bloody oath, mate. Yeah, that's right. Truth. Was it trying to remember bloody oath, mate? Yeah. Hi, Francia says hi, and good to see you, Francia. CJ in the house with the good vibes. I love it. Hello, Francia. Andrew says, how does the bonus multiplier work if you sacrifice a bit every day? Well, basically, you'll get the points for that day, and then they'll just add those up. Be a bit like a sweep, Andrew. So whatever that day is, they just add up the different days, times that you did it. All of your sacrifices added up in the multiplier. Yeah, that's right. So those US dollars on day, say 3, day 7, day 10, you did 3 days. They'll just add those up, and you'll get that. That'll be your base points, and then of course the total US dollar value at the time that they will happen will get added up for the volume multiplier and rank you for that. No matter the time frame, says Brenton. Andrew says, so if you put 3K in on day 2 and wanted to top up on to $4,180, what would the multiplier use? It's going to use individual days. So yeah. Brenton Eslick says, are you talking about the multiplier or the sacrifice rate? Volume multiplier and required volume. So you're going to need, you might do 3,000 US dollars on day 2, and then you might do the rest top up on day 7, say, or maybe day 23, whatever the US dollar value of those are to, going to get added up, and then that will rank you versus everybody else. Pretty easy from that point of view. Let us go to where we're going. We're going jumping over to, we've had a look at the Hex. We're going to log chart. Here we are, log chart, this all-time Hex price log chart. And we can see that the all-time low, so this log chart has all the data all the way back to the 2nd of December 2019, I should say. 2nd of December 2019 when Hex launched. And I think it goes right back to that day. Yes, it got that day. Let me got to double check on that. I can't actually see it on here, so I'm not sure what day that is, but it's pretty much the beginning. Yeah, and then you got the 2nd of January, so I'm pretty sure that's the 2nd there. And then of course the low here was the 5th of January 2020, and believe it or not, the low price of Hex was 0.005655. 0.005655, folks. So that's where we're at. And of course, here's another arrow here. This arrow here is approximately the all-time high. It excludes the big spike up that we had, the 56 cents on one of the pairs or something. But I have it has the rate here on. I've got to make sure what day that is. Take that one. Say 50.5 cents, something like that. So cool. And so here we're pretty much staying in this this channel for the most part. And just on the uptrend, looks amazing, the start on the log scale, doesn't it? So log charts are really good for seeing long-term trends, and of course it looks like we're still pretty much in that as well. So one of the other cool things is of course Hex price. If you take it from here all the way up to the high price, we're well, I haven't got the exact bottom. I've got to get the exact bottom. The problem is you have to get the exact bottom, otherwise you're really overstating things in there. So what am I on, 5th of January there? Go up a little bit there, 5.6. That looks pretty good to me. And we'll go up to there, and we'll bring that down just a little bit more. Not sure if I was on the right candle there. Got to get that quite right. That's approximate. So we'll just use it as approximate because it's hard to get the exact on the thing, but it's basically 900,000%. And if you include that price spike up to 56, if you want to include that, that would get you pretty close to probably 9,700,000 or something. So close to 1,000,000% rise in Hex. And of course, once we break that all-time high, we're going to break that million percent increase in there. So pretty cool on that. So yeah, that was to 51 cents. I thought it was pretty cool. What else I was going to talk about in this chart was, I think that was it. I think that was it. The percentage game and the channel. It's in the logs channel here, just continuing to go up there. Very, very cool. And also it has all the data, whereas the typically this one here doesn't have all the data in it. So because it's on version 3, not on version 1. So it's a version 1 chart. So cool. I think that's where I was at too. So nice one. Let's jump over to the Pulsechain just for to give us a bit of context. Obviously, we've got the fiat gateway to come in. We've got the bridge to come in. We've got the liquid loans that we talked about earlier today. If you want to check out that video, and it really brings it all together. You know, the network, the exchange, the savings, the lending. But this bridge, of course, is going to bridge over potentially, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of users. So if you've got something like 3 million users on Ethereum or more, then you know you've got all these people going to get airdrops and they're going to come over. So that's pretty amazing to see that sort of stuff happen. It's going to be pretty exciting for sure. And then of course on top of that, you got all the dexes and that with, you know, maybe 200,000-300,000 or something coming over as well on those. So it's going to be pretty mad exciting on Pulsechain and PulseX. It's going to be worth all that potential, and it's like almost driving instant adoption, right? Whereas normally you have to, let's get a marketing team, let's get a social media team, and you still have to do that stuff to some degree, at least the social media stuff from the community. But it's just going to, once people, the word spreads that you got this airdrop, they're all going to flood over. And then why do they go back? Why would they go back to higher ETH fees if everything's the same? So I pointed this out yesterday. It really is going to be amazing. There's so many incentives layered on each other. Biggest airdrop, biggest yield farming, incentive token, all the rest of it. It's going to be super, super good for everybody on here. They get everything they've got over there under here. And then, of course, you just need some of the teams will also catch up. Ones that are doing the GameFi, you know, the DeFi, the GameFi, all that sort of stuff with the NFTs. They'll be coming over too. Just makes a lot of sense. It's going to be very hard not to come over because of the fact that it's just everything superior, everything that the ETH 2.0 or maybe even ETH 3.0 wants to be, but isn't. So it's going to be mad awesome. So it's going to be looking forward to that. Now I just wanted to get onto some of the data for Ethereum at the moment. So here we are on Ethereum charts and statistics on Etherscan. So we're going to have a look at a couple of these key numbers. We're going to have a look at, we'll have a quick look at the ETH supply growth chart. Not sure if that has actually the burner. It takes into account that. Total ETH supply, 118 million. Daily block rewards, daily include rewards, daily rewards, daily ETH2 staking rewards. 1,337 ETH for the daily staking rewards. That's interesting. I think that what they're earning about 4% return on that, stuck for quite a long time. Daily burn fees, 15,304 on the burn there. So down total down 402 ETH for the day. So it looks like they're getting a little bit of deflation there. Some days, of course, it's still going up, net going up. So interesting stuff going on there. Definitely the EIP London fork had some impact there, sort of holding that off. So that's pretty interesting. Obviously, Pulse is going to be deflationary from the start. The total amount of supply is got through the staking process, through the sacrifice process, plus then of course the PulseX is also like that. So we won't encounter such things. It's going to be, our chart's more like going to be going down on a downward scale like that. So pretty cool. What else we got? Daily transaction chart. Now we haven't looked at versions of this before, but it's well worth looking at this one. So we're definitely, you know, Ethereum's moving. The transactions, you know, about 1.3 million, 1.2 million transactions here during the boom time here in 2021. All the way through, so that's pretty neat. You can see the just the use of the network just going up dramatically, and of course our fees went up dramatically. In fact, by the time we were in July, I think it was it August, September 2020, we started seeing those fees really climb, didn't we? And then 2021 was mostly ridiculous with the fees on there, so that was pretty cool. But definitely that's what happens in a boom market, folks. When you've got a small pipe as well on Ethereum, was it maybe 8 transactions per second or something on TPS? Theoretical, something like 25, but I think it only gets up to maybe, is it 12 or 13, something like that. So interesting there. And yeah, so we're going to look for all the stuff's going to be on Pulsechain. Going to be interesting to see how our numbers match up to some of this. Obviously, the value is going to be super cheap, so that won't be too comparable, except for how much cheaper it is, which would be cool. Now, what was I going to look at too? The ERC20 daily token transfer chart. This is kind of interesting too. So, oh boy, a big drop off recently. So you're looking at transfer on ERC20s. Obviously, everyone's going to get the biggest airdrop in history on Pulsechain with the ERC20s and obviously NFT tokens, 721s and stuff. But look at this. So we're up around not too far from 1 million on many days, 900,000. And that was back in May 2021. During the middle of the year, 1 million around there. We had a bit of a dip there, and then back up there as well. It's actually fallen off quite a bit, down to 500,000-600,000 at the moment on the RC20 transfers. So interesting. So we'll look here. What else we've got? We've got gas use chart. That's pretty interesting. What else? We'll jump through that. There was another one here I want to look at. Full node sync chart, full node daily activity. Here's we're going to look at these two. So the daily active Ethereum addresses. Obviously, it's great having a lot of addresses, but you want people that are active. So here we've got something like 400,000 active addresses going through August, September, all the way through to the end of November, around 500,000 and so forth. So pretty interesting there as well. And let's have a look. That's on the ETH side, of course. So you're looking at about 500,000 there. And let's have a look at the ERC20s, the daily active users on there. And because it's good to look at these, because we always think about the all the incentives, but actually the demand is the big thing, right? Getting that demand and people using that, that's what's going to get the X's up there and really pump it on top of the deflation ad tokenomics. Really going to, because that's going to turn the turnover. That's going to be the number of users is really going to be like the fuel inside the engine that's going to keep that wheel ticking over on the buy and burn. So it's pretty neat to look at these stats. So ERC20 active addresses, talking about 250,000 here, around that, all the way through to end of December, end of 21. So it's dropped off a little bit during early January, not surprising. But look at that, pretty solid as well. So 200,000 ERC20 active addresses. So some interesting stuff. Yeah, pretty interesting. All right, so I think that was pretty cool. Let us jump away from that. I think that was the last one I was going to look at too. It's got the average transaction fee, but that's really just for transfers, and so I think it's something like around $7 or something. But obviously on Pulsechain, that's going to be super cheap, potentially a fraction of a penny. And looking at $3 here towards the end of January. $5, stuff like that. So I don't remember ever paying anything like that fee, but this is what the chart's saying here on the average. I guess there's so many transactions going on there, but this is what the average is saying, $4 or $5. But in any case, that's just for a transfer, and I think we're going to kick butt on that for sure. So it's pretty interesting. Brendan says Gerardo's regression rainbow is still in play. Yeah, it got slightly, the bottom line got slightly broken though, didn't it? So he was pretty pretty upset when it happened, but it's managed to get back in there. So that you could just see that as a spike down through the thing. But I'm with you on that, Brendan. I'm with you. Getty says Hex live. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, get him. Oh, nice. Get him. Yeah. I want a big pipe. Small one suck. Says Hex. I don't know what you're doing. Matt and Barley says just taking a good morning, everybody. What have I missed? You've missed the Hex prices moving up and the sacrifice moving up. That's it, Matt. But hey, sit back and relax. Enjoy those cool old drinkos. Al says I put 5K in initial 1 to 10,000. The 1,000 top at 115. 1,000K top at 115 at 10,000. Cool. Well done, Else. You're in it to win it. Anything that's in at this stage, even at $1.28, is super cheap. I mean, people are going to be paying much higher than that in the future. So the sacrifice, even though it's 28% higher than it was before, it's super cheap compared to if you think the price is going to do 2x, 5x whatever, that's still cheap, isn't it? So still a good time to get in. Plus with the Hex price going up, if you're using Hex Sacrifice, it's a bit easier today than it was. You basically wiped off one of the days, and I think it was up 6-7%. So that's maybe what we say earlier, 11%, was it? Did I say that's what I said? It was up that much. Where was it up? So if the price was down here at the 21.5 cents, we were up 16%. So it depends on when you're buying in. Then that would have been an easy win for you on that one. All right, you would have gained on the USD on the price, and then you could sacrifice that. That would have been cool play. All right, so that's the average fee and the daily ETH burn. That's pretty interesting. Actually, let's have a look at the daily ETH burn. This is on the London Fork EIP. Here comes my cat. My cat's going to try and take over. What's up? Yeah, you can go outside. That's okay. That way. All right. That cat, man. That cat's crazy. All right. So there we are. And so a daily ETH burn, 9,200. Oh, we had some big burns lately. 19,000 on 10th of January. My gosh, that's a really huge burns lately. 17,000, 17. Boy, that's a lot of burn there at the moment. So no wonder we had some negative days on the ETH supply that we saw. It's finally getting some decent burns happening up that level. Definitely is going to have a negative result. So interesting. All right, so cool. I hope you enjoyed that one. And let me just scroll back to the charts there. Actually, I didn't post this in the video description, so I will put this in at the end if you want to check it out. Here is the link. In any case, I'll put that in the chat. You want to check out some of those stuff yourself. Very cool. Let's jump over to the DApp radar. So if you're not familiar with DApp radar, we're going to have a look at this. And we've got on the ETH tab there. It's just interesting to have a little look at some of the numbers. You got obviously MetaMask swap being at the top there. You got, I guess it's on an ad, yeah. So Samurai Lands is an ad. You got Polygon bridge on there. That's pretty interesting. So if you haven't used Polygon bridge, obviously we're going to have a bridge for ETH to Pulsechain, but you can use a Polygon scan bridge from the second layer Polygon network through to Ethereum, and so that's what that's talking about there as well. So you've got Sushi Swap on there, 1 inch, and you got Cow Swap. I actually haven't been on Cow Swap. I've never been there. I might actually check that out afterwards. This is the top 1 to 7 on the ETH. And am I under? Yeah, I'm under DeFi too, by the way. Not all categories DeFi there. And then Hex is sitting there at number 6. Yeah, go Hex. Hex is sitting on there. For quite a while, Hex was at number 1, right? Hex was number 1, so it does move around a bit there on that one. So cool. And then Shiba Swap is sitting there at number 7. And yeah, so pretty interesting stuff. What else? I've got all the way down there, you've got Aave and Compound. And we were talking about earlier today in the live stream, talking about liquid loans. And of course, that's a copy of this one here, Liquidity here. So we might jump on there, just briefly have a look at that. $7.01 for the token at the moment. See what the actual price on that has. Total value locked 2.37 billion, it says. TVL 2 billion. Market 720 million. Token price 716. Cap to TVL 0.35. So just, I don't know how long it's been around actually, but TVL moving in there. Right, cool. So interesting. So that was just a quick check there on that radar. We'll come back to Pulse Leads and check out the an update on the live results. Check that out, everybody. Cheers. So it's coming up, Friday evening here, almost in New Zealand. So many of you are still on Thursday evening. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. I tell you what, I think it takes. It's been a while since I traveled overseas, but I think it takes maybe 16 hours, is it, to get to United States? Maybe quicker than that if you're going just to LA. I think it might take 13 hours, 12 hours. I think you have to jump to like Tahiti or Hawaii and then go to LA from there, something like that. I think you can do that. I think, but if you're going to travel from LA to your destination, if you're going somewhere else, and you're just transiting through LA, then it could be 20 hours to get somewhere. I think I went to Florida and New York, and it was like, added up over 20 hours or something. It's like a day. It's like crazy. So you could probably end up not too far behind where you started your time zone, right? You start, if we're that much in the future, we could probably end up just where we started off in terms of time and day. It's kind of weird when you think like that, but that's the case. Interesting. Brenton says, can I swap my Shiba 1-for-1 for PLS before we find liquidity on Pulsechain? Well, I don't know. We'll see whether there's a pair for that. Well, you can just through the routing, so you can do that. I don't know if there'll be a 1-for-1 though. Right. They're all going to be ratios before the bridge starts, if that's what you mean. So we'll find out. 1-to-1 ratio. Who knows? Brendan says, can't believe I bought that crap coin, says Brendan. And Matt, that's hilarious. Well, I know a Shiba whale who bought it. They live out in no man's land, as it were, and they bought it. Just I don't even know what made them buy it. Maybe they had a good inkling about it, but they bought it way earlier, way before it was even on the radar, and like when it first started out. Not even sure what the FOMO was at the time, but anyway, she ended up with it was obviously went through the roof, and she just couldn't believe it. She just laughed herself. So she ended up paying her house off and doing all sorts of stuff, other stuff. It was pretty crazy stuff. So hats off to her. Very good insight there. Matt Barley said Friday midday in Bali. It's going to be hot, sunny, warm day. Hit the beach with the little dogs, then sit back and enjoy the live stream. Hey, Matt, good to see you and relax. I hope you got a nice cool drink there too. A little cocktail. What's the old drink again? What did you call your drink? A dinkum drink. Is that what it's called? A dinkum? Can't remember now. Got to remember that. That's going to become one of the channel things to remember that drink. Is it a dinkum drink? I can't remember. I was trying to remember that yesterday when we were doing the live stream there. Something. You said you had a dinkum head or something, something around the drink. Had too much to drink. All right, so there we are, 904 million, and looking pretty good. And like I say, I think if we add in the non-ETH, we're probably sitting around about that 940 million, give or take. So very nice on that. Now, Richard Hart didn't have any particular updates that was, a lot of this, because some of his updates are more entertainment based or topical. Nothing too much around PulseX. I did post a picture of a girl that did a little dance around Pulsechain. That was something Richard posted. So I put that on the thumbnail there. So great to see people from. Was it Bintang Bear? Brendan says Bintang. That's the one. Good old Bintang Bear. So I hope you got a Bintang Bear there, Matt. I hope you got a Bintang Bear. All right, so I was going to look that up actually, wasn't I, online? So I'll have to do that sometime. Look up what that beer looks like. That's hilarious. All right, so we're doing pretty well here. Let's get out of here and have a look at the trades on here and see what was going on there with that price. We're up at 25 cents, and then we got what did we get? The USD sell 136,000, then 120,000, and then 159,000. So there's a couple of heavy hitters there. They all the same account. These two are the same account, so that's interesting. So 490,000 Hex and 645,000 Hex. So that's pretty interesting because if you were back in the AA lobby days, it's just interesting back in the day. Just thinking about the volumes here. Yeah, that's funny. And now, of course, they're worth 37 ETH. That's kind of funny. That is. All right, so yeah, there we are. We've got one wallet sold down there. Took 170,000 just out of this pool. They may have swept some of the pools. They had a bigger order, and typically, if they're using, I think it's Matcha or something like that, they could do a order across all the pools. It will just distribute across all the pools. 1 inch as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got the 2 ETH pools and the 2 USDC pools on version 2 and 3 there, and I think that's about it. So we'll look there. See, Matic's actually holding up pretty well. So we're talking about Pulsechain. Matic's actually holding up on the Polygon at $2.25. So that's a pretty good sign of holding value when the market did, quite a strong pullback. And Matic didn't collapse this time like it has before. The last time I remember it collapsed, it went down to like 97 cents or something, and it just didn't hold value. But this time it managed to hold up there over the $2 mark. So I thought that was pretty robust from Matic. I might as well just have a quick look on there. So Matic is the token for the Polygon chain, which is the second layer of Ethereum, as we say. So let's have a quick look and see what that's done to hold up in the price. Let's full screen that. I think I've got it on the, let me put it on the daily there. Have a look at Matic. So yeah, Matic's really held up, right? So that's pretty impressive, all the way since August, you know. And what I say, 60. I said 97 cents, but actually on this day it actually was lower on the ETH chain. It was down at 70, down at 62.8. So yeah, maybe I saw it here. Where was this? $1.08. Yeah. Anyway, so actually went lower than I don't remember it. Maybe I'm not referring to that time frame, but I just remember down at about 97 cents or something. Because it was up here at $1.75, and then it went up to $2.05. It pulled back. It went up to $2.25, pulled back, and it moved up to $2.87 and pulled back to $1.90. So every time it's getting this kind of higher low, and this is kind of, maybe this is a good prediction for the old Pulsechain price, if you know what I mean. Like this is actually after it got through the initial period here back in May. It's really had a nice little rally here. So we could get something nice like this. We'll get something nice like this, but better. But even better, he says, even better. So yeah, that's looking pretty promising. What's the all-time high there on this one? $2.91. So it hasn't quite got over $3, but that's pretty cool. Now, obviously, Matic has taken over Ethereum on, I think it was transaction volumes. Yeah, I think it was up at 3-4 million. Then had got a lot of bot attacks. They raised the Gwei from 1 Gwei to 30 Gwei, and pulled it down to like 2.5 million or something transactions per day. I remember ETH is sitting around about 1.2, 1.3 million a day, and then the big thing driving that, of course, was the NFT boom on OpenSea. And of course, a lot more projects have been flooding over to Polygon. They've managed to get a lot of strategic deals with a lot of the players out there that want to get on Polygon. I guess there's probably a little bit of onboarding for people to get used to in terms of bridging. That's probably the only hurdle, really, is the bridging hurdle. Getting you have to have typically a little bit of time. It's kind of simple, but it's kind of not simple. People have to. It's easy to make little mistakes, but there is a little bit of learning curve. But definitely getting up there. I think on Polygon Matic, they have over 1 million people, maybe 1.1 million people following them on Twitter now. So to see some of the scale there. So if you can see that on Polygon, can you see Pulsechain? So let's see what we've got. Let's say we've got 72,000 wallet sacrifice so far, and we may have something like, I don't know, 150,000 people involved in a more broadly speaking. That you can see how quickly we're going to rise up into hitting over the million mark really fast, and we'll do it faster than these other chains have done it. It's going to be mad crazy. So 2022 is going to be epic, folks. Feel the FOMO, because it's going to be real FOMO. Obviously not investment advice. You know how this rolls. It's infotainment only. You must do your investment due diligence, and especially for sacrificing. Let's take that into account. But you are sacrificing for free speech and association. So just take that into account. All right, let's get it. Matt says Batang, but now having avocado and banana smoothie, yum yum. You're just trying to make us feel bad there, Matt. Living the dream in good old Bali. Brendan says off to do some chores. Cheers for the updates. Hex Token, have a good night. Hey, you too, Brendan. Appreciate that. Shout out to you. Enjoy yourself as well. And keep it real. Skydiving stake 40,000 hex for 700 days starting today. And since the second, in the second year, what else? Hex 20, Love Hex 20,000 hex and 200 million Shiba sacrificed for PLSX. Let's go, Hexkins. Oh, well done to you. Keep it real. All the best. Of course, you're going to get an airdrop, of course, of all that on the Pulsechain. So congratulations for that, and you're going to get your PulseX. That's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to enjoy yourself, I'm sure. Well done. Sam says just buying for the first time. Sam from Santa Barbara. Hey, Sam from Santa Barbara. It took me a long time to get my MetaMask to connect. I did sacrifice with PulseX. Will buy, stake, and continue to add. A nice one, Sam. Yeah, accumulate those positions. 22 to 23 is going to be epic. Don't forget the Highest of Stakes documentary. Hopefully that, well, it's really a film documentary that's going to be out. Expected January 23, but you never know, they could get it out earlier. Originally the time frame was going to be Q4, but Richard said they gave him an update of about January 23, but that's going to be pretty massive. in retail virality. The big stuff's going to happen anyway. I think that there's a lot of work happening with the billionaires, the people that are over 20 million, the hundreds of millions. You've got Funding Gym doing all that stuff. You got Kinetics team, you got other teams out there. Richard mentioned another investment trust looking at Hex in particular, but they're going to duplicate, right? They'll duplicate from Hex into Pulse as well. PulseX is probably not in the scheme of those typical big investors. You'll get some of them may invest in stuff like that. People like Corbin and other people like that, if they do get involved. No doubt they're looking at Pulse. They'll be looking at Pulsechain and PulseX. There's too much in there. So that should be pretty good. Keep It Real says, thank you, sir. Hey, you're most welcome. Keep It Real. Very, very cool. Yeah, so all that work, all that stuff, all the big money stuff's happening with Funding Gym and Kinetics and all that stuff out there, and others. So that's going to be really cool. And obviously, we've already got some big whales around as well. And some of them, at least one or two that I know of them are listed on the stock exchange. So, some of them are of quite significance. So, it's going to be a lot of fun. 2022, it's going to be pretty epic from the big money side and from the retail virality side. And that's going to run through into 2023. So it's just getting warmed up. It's going to be a pretty fun ride. And once Pulsechain comes out and the impact happens, it's going to bring on so many users. It's going to be crazy. And domination, I think, is going to happen too, where people just won't want to go back to other places because the incentive is so good, and the community size gets to a point where people don't want to leave either. So it's going to be shock and awe. And a lot of those places, CNBC and all that keep talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, will go, where the heck did this thing come from? So that's going to be quite funny to watch that too. I'm sure we'll all agree on that. All right, so let us go into the sacrifice again and do another update. 9043 was the last one. 904,338,000. This attracts Ethereum site only. Now, if you want to donate to the site, of course, that's to Game Genesis 10. They help do this data, so it's pretty nice of them. They also do it for Pulsechain, which is pretty cool. No doubt. So here we are, 904.369, and we've still got a top 7. And as we said earlier, it's pretty interesting to get in the top 100. You need $1,016,000, and we now have 104 millionaires sacrificed on the Ethereum chain by itself. Doesn't include other chains. So very, very cool. 104, which is up 1 from yesterday, as we worked out. But this is a funny thing to me. Top 500, you need 198,400. That's moving up towards 200,000. So a good chance we'll hit that. And that's top 5. And basically, you just have to say half of that to get in the top 1,000. You need $100,000 to get in the top 1,000 on the chain. So that's pretty hilarious. Look at all the 100,000s there. Bam, bam, bam. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's hilarious. So, and then obviously top 5,000, you actually need quite a bit to get top 5,000, and certainly higher than the Pulsechain one. And let's scroll down to there. So you need 18,241 to get up to there, which is pretty huge to get in the top 5,000. So not chump change. And let's go back up to the. Just wanted to see how many hundreds of thousands there were on there. Let's have a look at. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What's that, about 11? About 11. I scrolled too fast. I missed it. I think it's about 1,100 Ks there. So that's pretty funny. And of course, the talk of the town is the Magic Carpet Ride team. I think that they are the talk of the town because if they actually pull that off, then that's integrity off the blockchain, as it were. But they're sitting at number 29 on here. They crossed over the 3 million mark, and it doesn't include their Binance Smart Chain stuff, so they're probably about 3.3. They're also looking at the liquid loans. So if you haven't checked out a video that I did earlier today on the live stream, check out liquid loans. We did a nice overview on that. And they're also Magic Carpet Ride on YouTube's looking at doing that too. So sacrificing for liquid loans. And I no doubt they're probably going to try and do the haunted strategy. I have to watch a couple more videos about that, but I'm pretty sure they were looking to do that. And that would be a whole ton of them. leveraging the liquid loans to buy Pulse on Pulsechain, which is just another pumpermental for Pulse, with a huge buying demand from that collateralized lending. So that would be pretty interesting to watch that. So it's going to be fascinating. And of course, we've got Hedron as well. With people talking about Hedron for Hex stakers. So we're going to look at that either maybe tonight or my time or tomorrow, and we'll do a live stream on that too and go through that. So there's been a couple of interviews with the developer for that. Seems a pretty nice guy, and paid for this for the audit by himself. Unfortunately, he paid with this, had to sell some Hex at down at the low of 13 cents, and he knew it was the low, but unfortunately he had to pay for the audit. So says a lot about the chap doing that, I guess, if you want. So that's pretty interesting. So cool. So if you want to see stuff more about the Hedron stuff, he has been on the Discourse Syndicate show. So you can go to Discourse Syndicate on YouTube and check them out. He's been doing that on the Hedron, particularly if you've got Hex stakes. Now it's optional; you don't need to use it, of course, but that may be some benefit. The only issue, of course, is with the audit. You want to make the audits clean. You want to make sure the contracts are clean. They're not interacting with your MetaMask. Most of it should be view only, but if there's a wrapping function in there, if you so choose to use that part, you have to just take care that it's doing what it's expected to do, because you end up wrapping up your stakes into a contract that's doesn't work properly or this or that, then you could end up having that stuck, and that wouldn't be cool at all. So you got to, number one, numero uno, protect your stakes is what I would say. So I'd be very, very careful with anything, even if it's looks like a very good project. You just got to protect those stakes, baby, because Hex is going one way, it's going up that way. I got all kiddo, hey baby. It's like I'm on a rap song. Like on a rap song. All right, so cool. All right, so there we are. Let's move on. All right, so nice. And so forget the rate at the moment is $1.28 per 10,000 points. You can offset that with the higher volume multiplier if you are sacrificing higher US dollars amounts. And at the moment, people with the multiplier of around about 1.4 still getting over, 1.3 are still getting over 10,000 points because their multiplier offsets the volume decline for the base amount. So cool. Let's get back into the chat there. Verizon House, hey Brie, will we need Pulse for gas to swap PLS for PLS per bridge? Pre-bridge, yes, you'll need Pulse to do any transaction on the Pulse chain there, Brie. And Rob says 1 billion incoming SAC. Well, will T-share numbers increase? T-share numbers, I expect them to increase for two different reasons. On the ETH chain, I'm expecting T-shares to increase because I suspect that we're going to get some whale buys on there. And don't forget that it's not a one-way street. So obviously Richards thinks that Pulsechain is going to do better, and I do too, particularly from a retail point of view. But on the other hand, there's a strong scenario around Hex on ETH, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about them separately. So Hex on Pulsechain, that will have the T-shares obviously come down dramatically since all the stakes come out. So we're down to about 10.6 billion now. Sorry, it's 10.6 million, I should say, from 11 million. And so I'm expecting a lot more retail adoption. So a lot of people were getting adopted. A lot of people were out there spreading the word, and they were getting all these people excited. I want to get in. I just want to do $500 though. I just want to do 1,000 or whatever they're going to do. But then they get to the ETH chain, and the fees are like $150, and they're like, what? You know, so it really just puts people off. Whereas on the Pulse chain, it's going to change all that, of course, and especially for new people coming on, and for people obviously with long stakes. But it's going to change that, and I expect us to get a nice little T-share move up over time from that. So it should be quite good. The other thing, of course, is there's only so much Hex on going to be in the Uniswap or the P Uniswap or whatever you want it, PulseX, because there's only, if you bought all the Hex up now in Uniswap, you'd only get about 6.5, 7,000 T-shares. So there's not that much in the Uniswap pools if you think about it, because the share rate's now 20,300 or close to. So for a T-share, you can stake longer, of course, to get T-shares. Longer pays better, 20% up to 3,641 days. But you know, you do have the issue that actually on the base amount there's still that much Hex and supply, which is all part of the whole thing, right? So you want to get limited supply. People want it so bad they're going to pay and pay and pay and pay to get it. So that's kind of the idea. So yeah, I do think that from a retail point of view, we're going to get an increase in T-shares on retail, and obviously the bigger bigger players will also be buying T-shares on Pulsechain. It's kind of a win-win. The other thing on the ETH chain, however, we will see a decline in T-shares over time. That we're going to see that, but I think that we'll probably with the retail virality, we could see a little rise in it still. So it's going to be interesting to see whether we get that. We're definitely in play there, Bob. And the other thing, of course, is on a Hex on ETH chain. We could see the big players buying that up. Let's say that a lot of retailers start selling Hex down on there. They move over to the Pulse chain, take that over the bridge, for example. They sell it into, I don't know, ETH. They swap into Pulse and they start buying a Hex on the Pulse chain. And then maybe they stake that, maybe they speculate, whatever they're going to do. And then on the other chain, you're going to have with the lower T-shares or lower people over there, the APY can rise. And so you're going to get the big fish coming in there, buying up more supply and pushing and getting all that stuff up, or pushing the price up and getting that better APY for at least a period of time. So you've got a bit of both those things going to happen there. It's going to be interesting to see it played out. But for the retail pleb, it's way better. Obviously, unstaking, the staking fee as well on the S-load function factor is really high, and it gets as your stake is longer, it's going to add up fees on that. So Pulse chain will ultimately win out, but I do think that there's still a lot of value in the Hex ETH there. Let me just jump in there. I've got a little Russian bot there or something. Let me just get rid of that, and there we are. Bam. Bye, Bamman. Bodhi. So cool. All right, so very nice. Let us see how we're doing here. I always think we've got a poll on, but we haven't got a poll on today. Let's go take that. So nice. All right, so yeah, that's right. So at the moment, to offset if you sacrifice on that day, you'd need a price of about 30. What did I say earlier? 33 cents. I think just over 33.2 cents to get the same equivalent result in the Hex price. What are we up to there? 20. Let me have a look here. That's right, I'm in the wrong pair now. I've got to jump out of there. And we're going to jump over the Hex. I forgot that I was in the Matic pair. That was funny. It's going, hey, we're at $2.27. Hex at $2.27. What? What? That's just crazy good. All right, so those whales have definitely been buying up the old Hex there. So I think that's pretty neat. I think the Matic is a good example of the chain, and the fact that so many people just jumped on it. You can imagine Pulsechain is going to dramatically increase the number of people to Hex and Pulsechain and PulseX. That's going to be amazing. But hey, you wait till those yield farmers coming on from all the other yield farmers. It's going to be just silly. It's going to be silly. And also the aggregators, the yield farming aggregators and the compounders, they'll be over too on Pulsechain. So basically, they'll take LP tokens and then have secondary rewards, and they'll be giving back those rewards to yield farmers. So it's going to be crazy. That's all coming. It's coming. They won't. No, they can't resist. What happens? You find that the aggregators are jumping from chain to chain. Once they get onto the most awesome chain of all time, with the biggest yield farming in history, they'll be there for a long time. Especially as that creates competitive advantages over other dexes, which already had great results. 300%, 600%, depending on which ones you're looking at, what time frames. But pretty crazy stuff there, some of them. And obviously the chains can do thousands of percent. Or tens of thousands of percent, depending on where you get your price. So pretty exciting, folks. Let's go full screen. All right. Hey, we're not doing too bad today. Blake says, Shiba Inu, we love you. Shiba Inu, yeah, gets lots of love. And we definitely got some decent Shiba Inu sacrifice. What's that? 93 billion Shiba Inu sacrifice. That's not bad. 2.8 million. So definitely people in the Shiba community definitely notice Pulsechain. So it seems to be working. But basically, folks, get out there and spread the word. It's still early days. Even with the rate up at $1.28, that's a nothing burger. If you're looking at a 2x, a 3x, a 4x, a 10x, a 100x, 1000x, whatever, that's still cheap as chips to get pick up PulseX at the moment. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that. So keep spreading the word. Get onto those ERC20 teams where they are. Just to drop a little line here and there. The community plays a big role in doing the promotion So cool. Now I saw Richard Hart was live on Twitter today. I jumped onto another conversation, I think, and talking about virality and promotions and other topics. That was pretty cool to see Richard on that. Dropped in nice. Stephen says Hex price prediction at the end of Sac phase. So yeah, my prediction has been pretty much 60 to 70 cents on that. So I definitely think we can get a nice little run up. So we'll pull up that chart from there. It can definitely see us getting a new all-time high by that time, which is around this 50-cent mark. We could definitely get, if we get some nice little rallies up here, zigzagging up, definitely can see that. Let me see what my price is. Here's my price. So I put that on there. Yeah, 60, 70 cents. I definitely think we're going to do a dollar post the launch. Be much easier. There's going to be a lot of selling pressure at dollar though. It's a very important number for two reasons. So it's going to be interesting to see that. Obviously, we're going to have a bit of a stock split. So when I talk about dollar, I'm talking about both tokens, both Hex on Pulsechain and PulseX as aggregate value. But it's going to be pretty interesting to see that play out. But a dollar's quite a psychological level for selling, but also for people, institutions, big money. And once they see something at a dollar, it gets a lot more investment credibility to enter rather than a penny stock kind of psychology. We do know that a lot of those big players are being introduced and talked to and about this so far. So it's going to be pretty interesting to watch that. But as we go back to the log scale here, you could see that coming in pretty easy, right? So look, 90 cents, 95 cents is here. A dollar is here. That's where it's sitting right there. So if we drag this out a little bit, and let's say we have early March launch or something, then dollar is looking around about here. So let me get a little symbol here. So put the little symbol there, bam, and let me just pull that down a bit. Take it around about yeah. So that would be a dollar right there. That'd be a dollar. And in the log scale, it doesn't look too bad, does it? The log scale. And the linear scale, you think, oh, that still looks rather steep. But look at that. I mean, look at that run up there. Look at that run up. So definitely it can happen, and we know that we've got big money coming on. Definitely, I think that the number of cycles we're going to have this year will be less than we have in the previous year, but they're going to be longer and up, so longer and up sort of thing. So we might not have as many rises this year, but they're going to be quite impressive, as where I imagine them getting to. So cool. Good question. Bob says, if you sacrifice for PLS today, you can get one PLS for 59 cents. Just interesting to think about. Excuse me. Yeah, that is crazy, Bob. That's crazy. Now the price is so expensive on the Pulsechain Sacrifice. Why would you do it? You just go to PulseX and sacrifice for that, and then trade, as quite a few people want to do. Get your PulseX while you can. Yeah, that's right. So like I say, I think this is still really cheap, because if you're looking at 2X's here, folks, this price is still cheap. So obviously not investment advice, but this goes up in value that much. It's like a no-brainer. Anything in here at the moment is going to be like that. Obviously, once you get up to here, you're talking about a 10x versus relative to when you bought here. So these people are obviously going to have 10x on there, but it's actually cheaper and cheaper. So the people, the big counts up here, they're getting quadruple 0.41 cents for their price, and that only goes up. I think the bottom of the rank down here, we're getting something like 0.001 was the price. So whales obviously can much easier get a bigger return, but there's only so much they can exit out of a liquidity pool depending on how big it is. So there's a bit of trade-off there. Some of them in for the long game, some of them in for the short game. So we'll see a fight between the big whales too. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun to watch. All right, so price is doing pretty good, and let's go into the hourly here. Now the thing is, of course, we were slumming around because the PulseX rise started rising 5%, and the big whales don't have any incentive to give us higher prices so that the retail people can get in there. So that's not surprise. No surprise there. Which one am I in here? Am I on the right one? Let's have a look here. I'm not sure what I've done there. Daily. Let me go to daily. That might be. Oh, I've really stuffed up my sheet there. Let me have a look. Come on, you can do it. I've got to restructure this now, and let's get into that. We'll get that zoomed in. All right, so it looks a bit better. There we are. How about that? Ta-da! There we are. Took a little while, but we got there in the end, folks. Got there in the end. Hey, Francia says, I love to see you live chat. Hey, Francia, appreciate that. And it's definitely a pleasure doing it. Do enjoy it. And it is a lot of fun, right? I like the end game. You know, we're all after the big price increases, and but also like the journey. The road there is pretty cool. And see all the action, right? It's kind of like an action Jackson thing. Maybe it's a little bit like watching sports. You like gridiron, you like rugby, you like soccer, you like cricket, something like that. It's a bit like that. Netball, you like netball. I don't know if you guys play netball. Netball's a pretty popular game. Volleyball, ice hockey. It's like watching a cool game, that's for sure. It's amazing how many sports are out there that you've never even seen. I don't know if you've seen any videos of like alternative sports. There's some crazy stuff out there, sports stuff that they do. On ice, they do it's like the green on the greens. I can't even remember the name of the game now. They do the stuff rolling the stuff down the ice and all sorts of. There's so many different crazy sports around. Anyway, so I divert somewhat. 24.6 cents. Let's go back to the hourly. I'm trying to get into the hourly chart. Unfortunately, I've pushed that up there like that too much. Let's squeeze that in. That's a little bit better. So yeah, we've had a really good race today, and definitely got some nice volume in here. That was pretty nice. I think we're very happy with that actually. The rolling 100 moving is it 100? Yeah, moving 200 moving average for the hourly is 23 cents. So we're doing pretty well there. We actually been as high as 25 cents, which was earlier, and that was a lot of fun to see that. All right. What time is it? 5:30 p.m. in the afternoon here. Almost dinner time, but I probably had dinner at maybe 6:30 or something. We'll see what happens. It's Friday night, of course. Probably hit the clubs and all that. I'm just kidding. But 5:30, something like that, is pretty cool. I don't even know if you can go to clubs here anymore, so it's probably the case. Where am I going here? I was going to go over to the sacrifice board. Let us go. So if you want to do a sacrifice, folks, pulsex.info is the site. That is the official DApp. You can definitely check that out. I think I've also got the original tweet from Richard Hart around the launch. So I think that's in the video description. So you can check that out. It's always good when you're doing sacrifices for any projects, whether it was Pulsechain, PulseX, or even liquid loans coming up. It's always good to have the official sites so that you have make sure that you're sacrificing to the right place, right? Otherwise, you're just basically losing money if you send it to the wrong place. Good thing, rule of thumb too, is you can always just send a little bit if you want to test it out, make sure it all works. You can do that too. Remember, the sacrifice period is a time-weighted average price every half hour. Most chains or most tokens that you do, best to generally try and send the main tokens, is if you want to avoid any. Because Richard's team's got to basically run a script and try and, which he's got someone full time on that kind of thing, almost. So they have to go through and try and equate all the time snapshots, and if they get all these weird little tokens, they've got to find out, do they actually have real prices? Have they got fake volume? Are they token real? So it's all those sort of issues to go through. But yeah, we could have, I mean, honestly, PulseX could end up, but change the topic a little bit now, but PulseX could end up with thousands of pairs, 5,000-6,000 pairs, something like that. Could be tradable on there. Could be super awesome. You imagine a little fraction of all those trading pairs, no matter what the volume is, going on to buy and burn the PulseX token. It is quite mind-blowing. The results are just spectacular. So yeah. But my favorite indicator is, of course, the Hex, 2,092,000,000. That is fantastic, especially if you're holding Hex. That is a major pumpamental. The sacrifices have been perfectly timed as well. I'm not sure whether that was intended or not, but the stakes, Richard does look at the staking ladders. He's well aware of what the stakes look like coming out. And man, oh man, the timing was perfect through July, August, and then perfect now to soak up a lot of Hex that came out from November, October, late October, November, and December stakes that came out as well. So that's helped to soak up a little bit of that, get off the market. That does accelerate the Hex profile moving forward. Just sort of accelerates it. So very cool. And then of course a lot of, as we say, a lot of whales, other people are being introduced to Hex as it moves past its 2-year phase, and so it's going to be pretty exciting. The airdrop of course adds that extra excitement, but it's a bit like a stock split where it gets split into two. Hex on Pulse is likely to perform slightly better. That said, of course, the returns, there will be competing returns as well. But the pairs will get matched up in liquidity pools, so it's going to be interesting to watch that play out. So that in terms of the price, it's going to be fun. All right, so Francia says hi, Journeyman. Yeah, I think Journeyman was in the house at the beginning. Journeyman, I think, was up here. Pretty sure I saw Journeyman earlier in the chat. Yeah, I can't see the Journeyman's comment, but I'm sure Journeyman was there earlier. Very, very cool. Hey, we're coming up to an hour and 20 minutes. You know how I roll. That's pretty much the live stream. But man, what a lot of fun, eh? We are heading up about 940 million USD sacrificed, and onwards and upwards. The higher Hex price, any price that gets higher on any RCR20 that you want to sacrifice, is certainly going to lift the sacrifice amounts in per day. So it's actually pretty good. Nice to see that move up. Probably entice a few more people to sacrifice. The rate is still pretty good if you think about, if you're bullish on the amount of excess the price will go, then it doesn't really matter sacrificing at the moment. Obviously not getting as much as you would 5 days ago, but in the scheme of things, you're still going to potentially get some big X's in the future, which should be pretty crazy, especially if you hodl for the longer play. That could work out quite nice. Obviously, I hope you guys enjoy yourself, and I will catch you guys tomorrow for the daily vid update, and maybe we may even I'm going to do on the Hedron project for stakers, and either be later tonight or tomorrow. We'll see how I get on there. Probably maybe tomorrow is probably where I'm thinking now. All right, so don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and hit the bell, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you enjoy yourself, and bye for now. Chris says, woohoo! That's a good way to finish. Woohoo! I like it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let me just post this. Bam. All right, take care all. I'm going to find the off button, that's for sure. But let's post a few emojis first, because we like to party in Party Town. So we'll just post a few channel emojis. There's some of the emojis you get when you're a Hex Token channel member. So you get some of these. They're pretty nice looking ones there as well. So nice. Take care, everybody. I really enjoy this. Hope you are too. Happy sacrifice period. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, bye for now. Take care.